Raju! Akhtar!
This euphoric, pivotal, and acrobatic bridge scene in RRR is a crucial moment in the film where the two main characters, Alluri Sita Ramaraju, played by Ram Charan, and Komaram Bhim, played by Junior NTR, meet for the first time. The scene takes place on a multi-purpose bridge over River Yamuna. This sets the stage for their eventual friendship and alliance in their fight against British colonial rule. But is there something more than what meets the eye? There is absolutely so much to unpack here. Sit tight, relax, and enjoy. Purpose, cinematic setup, speculative payoffs, bridge, flag, and its history. What's the purpose? The purpose is to save the child. The child is engulfed in flames, and both the protagonists they've jumped into the water to save the child. What's the setup? The cinematic setup is twofold. First is to establish that both protagonists can communicate with each other even through the sign language. Number two, Bhim came to Delhi to infiltrate and rescue a child Malli kidnapped from his Gond tribe. He is undercover. Ram's eventual purpose is to get hold of guns so he can fight for his people's freedom. Ram is in deep undercover. Now, what of the payoffs? Ram and Bhim, they've exchanged the flag and the child. Bhim came to rescue a child. He grabs hold of the child, gives the child off to Ram's character. And then Ram gives the flag to Bhim. He came emboldened with freedom on his mind. So they are exchanging each other's goals. So that's a beautiful concept. It's everybody's speculation. It's my speculation as well that there is a beautiful theme even behind this rescue scene. Now, what of the bridge? Bridge is an interesting story. The bridge was modeled based on the bridge in the movie was modeled based on a bridge constructed by Thomas Arthur Cotton in Rajamundry. It's a bowstring arch truss bridge. The original bridge constructed by Arthur Cotton in Rajamundry is not standing anymore. It was dismantled in 97 and replaced by a new bridge. However, some parts of the original bridge, such as the piers and the arches, have been preserved as heritage structures. Also, the train tracks did not exist on the original bridge constructed by Thomas Arthur Cotton. The bridge was primarily used for vehicular and pedestrian traffic, and it was not until several decades later that railway tracks were added to it. That was a creation from that particular bridge that existed after 1970. So, taking cinematic liberties is totally fine. Now, let us talk about the flag. It's my favorite topic. Now, that flag is uh, is called a Vande Mataram flag. Why is it called a Vande Mataram flag? Let me give you some history. Vande Mataram was a song composed by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in a book called Anand Math back in 1870s. In that particular novel, the protagonists um, they represent India as a goddess, and they fight against the colonial oppression. Now you have to remember 1857 was the time around which there was a rebellion, the first war of Indian independence. It was crushed by the British. Many rulers were killed. They were stripped of their rights and titles. Now this Anand Math came in that background. What the British did was to ban Anand Math. Anand Math was banned until 1947 till India got its independence. Now everything came to a head in 1906. What was happening in Bengal at that time was there was a lot of, the truth was, it was getting very difficult to rule over Bengal. So the British general at that time, Lord Curzon, decided to divide Bengal into two, East Bengal and the West Bengal, the legacy of which lives even till today. The Bengals were divided based on religious lines. They divided it into Muslim East Bengal and Hindu West Bengal. They used divide and rule policy to rule all over India, not just there. That became a, a, a slogan for the entire Indian freedom movement. Let's take a closely look at the flag. The flag has three bands, just like many of the flags that were being created at the time with the nationalist movements. It's a tricolor. The green color represents peace, yellow represented sacrifice, red represented equality. The top eight lotuses are tulips. I mean, there were different representations of it, and they represented different provinces in British India at the time. You can see the map. I'll pull up the map here of the British India. Burma Presidency, Bengal Presidency, Madras Presidency, Bombay Presidency, and you have United Provinces that includes Agra and Awadh, Central Provinces and Berar, that's part of present-day Madhya Pradesh, and some land that was loaned from Nizam of Hyderabad. And then you have the Punjab presidency, and then you have the Assam presidency. Now, the central part of the writing is in Devanagari script, generally Sanskrit, Hindi, Punjabi, many of the North Indian languages. They are even Bengali. They are written in Devanagari script. The moon, the crescent moon, represented a Islamic symbol. The sun represented Hindu and other religious symbols. Hindus, Jains, many of the religions have sun as a symbol. So this was raised by Bhikaji Kama in 1907 at the International Socialist Conference in Germany, and versions of it was adopted all over the country. 1907 to 1921, this flag was in circulation. So this flag was about unity of all religious identities in India, all races in India, all all types of creed in India. It it united India under one flag. It was the first time ever. They tried to raise some flags before that. They were not popular. This was the first flag that was popular. But in 1921, Gandhiji had guided in creation of a new flag with a charkha. He wanted to make sure that it was simple and understood by everyone. So he created a charkha is for weaving cotton. So he used that as a central symbol, on the central part of the flag. It was used until 1947, until India got independence. Once we got independence, the charkha was transformed into a wheel. The wheel uh, came from a second century BC king who created a pillar in Sarnath, a central part of India, where the wheel represented the wheel of dharma. Dharma means justice for all. And underneath there was an inscription that said Satyameva Jayate, truth always prevails. At that time in 1905, India was divided into on religious lines by the British at the time, so that they can use their divide and rule policy to rule all over India, or maintain their control all over India. So hopefully this video is informative. You guys, hopefully you enjoyed the history of from the scene that we can get. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Here is your host Hemant.